The 21st century dawned with a promise. We had exhausted Earth's fossil fuels. Climate change was ravaging the planet. Then came the discovery of helium-3, a rare isotope abundant on the Moon. It held the key to clean, limitless fusion energy. Hope, for a brief moment, outshone our despair. The world's superpowers wasted no time. A new space race ignited, this time with the Moon as the ultimate prize. The year is 2067. The lunar surface is scarred with mining outposts, a testament to humanity's insatiable hunger for energy. But this was not a collaborative effort for the greater good. It was a land grab, a division of resources fueled by old rivalries and new anxieties. The Moon, once a symbol of unity and cosmic wonder, was now a chessboard for geopolitical gamesmanship. The future, once bright with the promise of helium-3, was now clouded by the spectre of conflict. The Armstrong International Base, named after the first human on the Moon, was supposed to be a beacon of cooperation. Established in 2042, it housed scientists and engineers from around the globe. Their mission was to coordinate the extraction and distribution of helium-3. But the dream of unity was short-lived. The European Union, the Asian Federation, and the United Americas, the three superpowers of this era, soon carved up the Moon into zones of influence. Each nation laid claim to vast stretches of lunar territory, rich in helium-3 deposits. The Armstrong Base, once a symbol of international collaboration, was now a fractured microcosm of Earth's political landscape. Tensions ran high. Suspicion poisoned every interaction. Accusations of treaty violations and espionage became commonplace. The lunar surface, once pristine and untouched, was now scarred not just by mining operations, but by the invisible lines of territorial ambition. The stage was set for conflict. The question wasn't if, but when. As tensions escalated between the superpowers, a new faction emerged from the shadows: the Free Pioneers. They were a motley crew of miners, explorers, and idealists. Many were descendants of the original colonists who had braved the journey to the Moon in the early days. They yearned for a different future, one free from Earth's control. The Free Pioneers rejected the division of the Moon by Earth's governments. They believed that the lunar surface and its resources belonged to all humanity. They established hidden settlements in the labyrinthine network of lunar tunnels, remnants of ancient lava flows that honeycombed the Moon's subsurface. These tunnels provided protection from the harsh lunar environment and the prying eyes of the superpowers. The pioneers were not soldiers. They were survivors, driven by a love for the Moon and a fierce desire for independence. They were a thorn in the side of the superpowers, a constant reminder that the lunar frontier was not easily tamed. Their emergence added another layer of complexity to the already volatile situation on the Moon. The battle lines were drawn, but the combatants were no longer confined to Earth's nations. Warfare on the Moon was a strange and terrifying affair. The absence of an atmosphere meant that sound could not travel. Explosions were silent, deadly bursts of light and debris. Battles were fought in a chilling silence, the vacuum of space amplifying the sense of isolation and dread. The lunar dust, fine as talcum powder, posed its own challenges. It clogged machinery, infiltrated habitats, and played havoc with electronics. Movement was restricted to pressurized rovers or bulky spacesuits. Each step kicked up clouds of dust that lingered in the low gravity, obscuring vision and betraying positions. The vast distances and limited visibility made it difficult to distinguish friend from foe. Ambushes were common, and the element of surprise was a powerful weapon. The lunar surface was a battlefield like no other, a silent, unforgiving arena where death could arrive without a whisper, a sudden flash of light the only indication of its presence. In this eerie silence, a new kind of warfare was being waged, one where technology and strategy were paramount, and the human cost was felt more keenly than ever before. Commander Emma Rue, a veteran of the European Union Space Force, stared out of her rover's viewport at the desolate lunar landscape. Her squad, 4 highly trained soldiers, had been tasked with securing an abandoned mining station. Intelligence reports suggested that the Free Pioneers had established a presence there. Emma gripped the joystick of her rover, her gloved fingers tightening. She had seen her fair share of action during her years in the EU Space Force, but something about this mission made her uneasy. "Alpha Team, this is Control," a voice crackled over the comms. "You are clear to approach the station. Proceed with caution. We are receiving intermittent life readings from inside. Copy that, Control?" Emma replied, her voice calm and steady. "Alpha Team, move out." The rover lurched forward, its wheels crunching over the lunar dust. As they approached the station, a sense of foreboding washed over Emma. The station was eerily silent, its metal hull pockmarked with micrometeoroid impacts. The only sign of life was a faint flicker of light from a window deep inside. "Something doesn't feel right," whispered Lieutenant Chen, Alpha Team's demolitions expert. "Too quiet." "Agreed," Emma replied, her hand hovering over her sidearm. "Stay sharp, Alpha Team. We go in quiet and we go in slow." The interior of the mining station was dark and dusty. Years of neglect had taken their toll. Wires hung from the ceiling like vines, and pieces of equipment lay scattered across the floor. Emma and her squad moved cautiously through the corridors, their boots crunching on broken glass and metal debris. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the hiss of their respirators and the thud of their own heartbeats. "Fan out," Emma whispered, her voice amplified by her helmet's comm system. "Check every room and corridor. We need to confirm if there are any pioneers present." The squad fanned out, their flashlights cutting through the gloom. The air was thick with the smell of stale air and something else, something metallic and acrid. Emma moved towards a flickering light at the end of the corridor, her hand resting on her sidearm. As she approached, the light resolved itself into a computer screen, its display filled with lines of code. "Lieutenant Chen, get over here," Emma called out. "I need you to take a look at this." Chen hurried over, his boots echoing in the silence. He examined the computer screen, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's a distress signal," he said after a moment. "Being sent on a loop." "Who's it from?" Emma asked. "The Free Pioneers," Chen replied, his voice grim. "They're in trouble."